am Olivia, and I'm sitting here with Urban Heat. Hi, you guys.
Hi, Olivia.
Hello.
How's your day going so far? Let me ask you that.
Chill.
Chill. That's good. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
And you guys are in town tonight for a show, correct? Okay.
Yeah, it's the last show of our North American run, which was off and on, kind of 2 months. And our final show before we head to Glasgow next week is tonight at Paper Tiger. Yeah.
That's awesome. I heard that you guys had raised enough money to get there.
Yeah.
But I know that you said that you weren't sure if you had enough money to get back.
No, I mean, okay, we will. Everything's gonna work out.
Okay.
Everything's gonna work out just fine. But yes, when I'm doing like a fundraising post or something, I'm
Yeah.
like, this is what your money will go towards. Like we're gonna be fine because that's how the universe takes care of us. So we'll be fine.
I
Yeah.
love that attitude.
I just physically haven't purchased our flights back
Okay.
yet.
Well, I'll come get you if necessary.
Yeah, because I just want to make sure we've got enough of a cushion before doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How excited are you guys to be touring with Molchat Dama?
We're really bored.
It's like, this should be fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be amazing. We're hyped. We're kids in a candy store. Like, yeah.
That's awesome.
It's gonna dawn on us once we land, though.
Oh,
and
yeah.
we're like, oh shit, or like the first venue we
After-
go to, and we're like,
Yeah.
holy shit, this place is big.
After the first night, I think the first night when we finish the first night and then we get to watch Mall Shot and then like
Yeah.
yeah.
That's awesome. So I know that you're also a parent and a musician. So what does that kind of balance look like for you?
Trying to soak in and squeeze as much joy out of every moment that you possibly can and making sure that the people in your life who depend on you know that they can depend on you and that how much you love them. It's difficult though, but in the time that you have when you're back, it's like you know that dad's always there for you. That it's difficult right now for them.
Yeah, I have a 7-year-old, and me just going to school is difficult for her, especially because she goes to bed before I even get home sometimes. And she just constantly is like, I miss you, but I try to make it there to every soccer game, making sure that any spare time I have is with her, like even taking photos with her, doing stuff, trying to incorporate her as much as I can in everything that I do. So that's really, really awesome. So I know that I love your new album, and I was waiting for The Tower to come out, and it's just the writing is so beautiful. One of the songs that stuck out to me, one of the lines was from Blindfolds and Magic Bullets, and I love you said there's a world in my head, and I want you to hold the key, and I thought that was so beautiful. What inspired that?
Well, the line before it is like, wait for me. If there's the slightest chance that someday you would say to me that there's a world in my head and I want you to hold the key. So the idea is if there's at least in that part of the song, the idea is this possibility of love of just everything. You know what I mean? Someone being so connected to someone that they would want to let you into that like holiest of holies in their head.
I love that. That's kind of what I did with my husband. We've been together for like 8 years, and I told him like he holds the key because he's the only one who can like navigate the chaos. Even when I don't know how to navigate the chaos, there's times where he just kind of comes in clutch and is like, "You're having a tough time. You don't see it yet, but I want to help you through that." I feel like it's very important to have that type of support system.
Absolutely, and some of us don't, and some of us use music as that. And I feel like that's why some of our fan base, like, we're able to really connect with them in that way.
Oh, definitely, definitely. I was able to connect to this album very much. So, like I had said before, it helped me through a really dark time this year. It just was when everything was just kind of like falling apart. I really turned to y'all's music, and it really helped me get through. And that let me know that I'm not alone, and that it's okay to have moments of weakness, as long as you remember to power through, and that you're gonna come out on the other side. You just can't see it right now, but you will get there.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
I mean, sometimes you got to go through that darkness to get to that light. You know what I mean?
Yes, I feel like you can't see the light and all the good if you don't have the
Right.
dark.
Exactly.
I was just trying to get out of that. So there was another line that I did like also from You've Got That Edge. Pouring salt into the wound is the best that I can do.
Mm-hmm.
I really, really like that. What inspired that line in particular?
I've got a friend who sometimes they need there's in active addiction, and I think that line was sort of about sometimes you need not to twist the knife, but sometimes we need friends who can speak, who can tell us what we need to hear, even if we don't, you know.
Yes. I looked right
You know
over
what
there.
I mean?
Yes.
That will risk like, you know what, you might be mad at me for the next week, like
Oh,
whatever,
yeah.
but like as your friend, like I gotta say this to you, you know?
Yes.
And I don't really know how that fits with the rest of the song. But that line, I just liked it.
It's a
So
really good
it's
line.
like I'm putting it in.
It stuck out to me. I am 7 years sober. So for me, it kind of really resonated because I'm like, oh yeah, like self-destructive behaviors and patterns. It's super easy to fall back into, even though you know, like it's not the right decision. It's just because it's comfortable and that's what you're used to. So when in hard times, it's difficult to kind of like shy away from that. And I'll catch myself kind of trying to like steer myself in a negative direction. And I'm like, no, that's just your thoughts.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
you got to get back to the other side.
Oh yeah.
But I'm very blessed to have this person right over here.
Well,
So
that's the
she's
thing.
a person who's very honest with me.
Yeah, but that's the other thing too, like self-reflection and whatnot. Like without that sounding board, we can tell ourselves, we can spin a narrative that's not necessarily what the reality of the situation is.
Exactly.
You know, and it's good to have that sounding board.
See, that's why I kind of thought about going into PR. I'm like, might as well use like my powers for good versus evil, like damaging myself. Maybe just kind of like try and help other people. So, so what 3 songs would you recommend to someone who has never heard you guys before? It's first time listener.
I don't know. Okay, so like top of my head, I would say like Trust, Simple Love Song, maybe Blindfolds and Magic Bullets. Maybe those
Well,
three.
What'd you say?
I would definitely say Simple Love Song, Blindfolds, and Sanitizer.
I'd hit him with Sanitizer.
I hit him with Sanitizer.
I'd hit him with Blindfolds.
I almost said Sanitizer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Sanitizer gets that dance aspect, and then Blindfolds gets dark. And then I'd tell him to just spin the wheel, just pick another one at random.
I know Sanitizer my daughter loves. She dances around and hops around in the living room too.
UH
It's so
is for
cute.
the kids.
Yes. Oh, she loves it. She loves it. So it makes me happy to see her like dancing around and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So, what song resonates with you most in this moment and why?
Out of any songs ever?
Mhm.
Wait, what's been the
It's
song
hard.
of this tour?
What's
What's been the song this tour?
Wait, are we talking about Urban Heat or are we talking about music?
She's talking about music,
Music in general.
Okay, what have
man.
we been
Yeah.
playing this whole tour? Oh, right now, the Light Asylum song,
yeah.
Dark Alleys.
Yeah, we
is,
keep playing that on repeat.
It's like my jam at the
Yeah.
moment.
And for me, it's this tour I've been listening to Pretty Pimpin', like Kurt Vile,
I like that.
or is that his name?
Yeah,
Mhm.
Kurt Vile.
Yeah.
I think I had an
Yeah.
epiphany on the drive here with Vinny. We were listening to Gangstar,
Guru.
and we were both like, this is why we're so confident with ourselves. Because we listen to this type of music growing up where it's just like, you can't fuck with me. You know what I mean? And
Exactly.
I
It's
shouldn't be able to fuck
empowering.
with you either. Yeah. It's empowering type stuff.
Can we
so-
curse on here? Just wondering.
Oh, yeah. I curse a lot.
Oh, I did too. I had to try to bite my tongue right now, so it's okay.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Okay. The Red Band edition.
Yeah.
Who are some of y'all's biggest musical influences, since we just talked about that a little bit, and how have they shaped your work?
Okay, I was thinking about this morning actually, because over the course of this band and a lot of interviews, there's the kind of answers that people want to hear, especially when they're like, "Oh, you guys are in this space," and I've gotten accustomed to giving certain answers because I feel like that's what people want to hear. And I decided, and this is great that you're asking this, because I'm going to start speaking the truth about those answers, right? So my influences, I really like the lyrical songwriting of like Conor Oberst from Bright Eyes,
Oh, that's a deep cut.
Elliott Smith. Just the poetry there is just freaking beautiful. Neutral
Never
Milk
knew you
Cult.
was an Elliott Smith fan.
Yeah, yeah.
Play that on.
I
We'd
I play
fall-
that
we'd all
stuff in
fall
my
asleep,
headphones,
though.
man. Yeah, I play my music, keep my music to myself because I don't know who's gonna like it.
I love
and
Elliott Smith.
and because it's like a personal, you know what I mean. Some of that
Oh,
stuff's
no
deeply
doubt.
personal.
No,
like,
you have to listen to it by
it's
yourself.
for, like, yeah,
it's,
yeah.
It's not what you put on.
yeah, like
for
we jamming,
others,
we
yeah.
jamming, yeah. And then like Neutral Milk Hotel, you know.
Louisiana.
I have a real love for just kind of like this like folk, almost like art music as art, right? Yeah, that's where lyrically I like the poetry of that. Sonically, I just like stuff that slaps. To be honest, like
It shows.
Run the Jewels. I think sonically, a lot of like Run the Jewels stuff is
Futuristic,
yeah.
especially the beats.
I
Yeah.
love Run the
LP.
Jewels.
LP's legend.
Yes,
Yeah.
he is
One of the greatest
amazing.
producers ever.
Yeah. What about y'all? What gets you going?
Oh, I mean, gosh, that's
it's
such
hard.
a loaded question.
Because that was the thing. Like we used to
And
get
it's
asked this, and we were just like,
obviously-
okay, let's talk about
Well,
the Depeche
yeah, I
Mode,
mean,
like,
you
know
have
what I
to
mean?
like
Yeah.
throw like the Holy Trinity in there, like the Cure, Depeche Mode, New Order, Joy Division, type thing for how this music translates. But there's little like peaks of our influences that come through here and there with this. I mean, honestly, we all played in so many different bands that with this band, we kind of wanted to step out and do something different with the instrumentation that we always is. Like for me, I'm like Wu-Tang head, Death Grips, like heavy industrial ministry. Like, so like doing stuff on synths was what we knew we wanted to do. But then with Jonathan's voice that was reminiscent of Ian Curtis, Peter Murphy type stuff, it just lent itself to this being the sound. But our influences could, go forever. I mean, I love old country stuff, and you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I was gonna say like Towns Van Zandt or
I knew
something
you were gonna
because
say it. I knew you were gonna
well
say
because like lyrically like I like to write and just saying things in a different way that's not so straightforward. You know what I mean? And it's just like
Oh,
makes you
poet.
think like
writer's writer.
right. And but for me like if you ask me probably my favorite band of all time, it'd probably be like Led Zeppelin or some shit, right? But then like you go into when I first heard like Metallica or something, I was just like, what the fuck is this? Like I was like my brain
Oh, yeah.
exploded and shit.
That's how I felt
Like,
with Deftones. When I
right?
first heard Deftones, like my whole
But then
life changed.
I grew up with my mother listening to like, I don't know, like Earth, Wind and Fire, Diana Ross, or some shit like that, where it's like, or even older than that, just like there's a whole thing that I can't really just. I didn't like new wave at first though.
Oh, really?
No, I didn't. Not really. I was like, it's boring, because I grew up in the '80s, so I was just like, I don't know. And then I think I heard NXS or something.
Great band.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, I can get with this. And then from there, chase girls around and listen to it, and then I came to love it.
I think
So,
if you're excited about music and you're an artist, you're a musician, especially today where we have access to everything and everybody's pulling from everything. Like if
Yeah.
you're a truly study the art, your influences are going to be everything.
Yeah,
you
it's
have
gonna be
the
everything.
As it
the
should be,
entire
yeah.
catalog of recorded human
Yeah.
music.
And
And,
then
if
there's
you're
rap.
not influenced by all of that, then you're doing something wrong,
yeah. And then there's rap.
And then there's rap.
yeah, and there's rap. It's like damn, like there's a whole world of that before was out now, like just about like empowerment towards people of color, you know what I mean, and lessons to be learned about like who you like. Just listening to Gangstar just now, like songs about like be careful who you're around, they can get you like stuff my mom would tell me, it's in song form and
Wisdom.
So, yeah, exactly. So it's everywhere.
That's awesome. Like that's kind of what I'm doing with my kid. I let her just kind of like listen to everything. And there's questions that she has and whatnot. She does listen to Run the Jewels. So there's some
Nice.
stuff that she's like, "What does that mean?" I'm like, "Hold on, let me pause it. We're gonna have a conversation right now." So, but
Run the
it.
Jewels.
So I like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think my daughters are learning about racism in America because of song lyrics.
Yes,
You know, and I think
yes.
it's good because it's like, well, what does this mean? I'm like, well, I'm going to tell you.
Yes. It really kind of just opens up the door. And I feel like it's easier to have those conversations with her like that versus actually being immersed in it and having to explain to her, this is going to be your daily experience every single day. And this is what you're going to have to deal with. And it's difficult trying to like navigate certain situations like that. It is very difficult. So what steps have you guys taken to like maintain your like mental well-being in this like demanding industry?
I started skating. I'm still really into my like fitness and trying to take care of my body. Gotten a little bit more into like esotericism lately. Trying to honor my ancestors through ceremony and things like that.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Taking breaks from each other. It's a good one.
I don't think that I do anything. I think I'm the same, no matter what
It's just chill
situation
vibe.
I'm in. Yeah.
What inspired you to write this album? Like, what did the creative process look for this?
Oh, we finished a tour and I had a bunch of song ideas and ended up kind of scratching all of them and sort of writing. I think You've Got That Edge was the first thing that I wrote that was like, okay, we can kind of pull from other places. And I was like, well, this is a little not grounded. And so I wanted to, the next song that I wrote was kind of as a response to that, something like a little bit more grounded and dark. I don't remember which one it was, but basically over the course of the next like 12 to 20 days, just one song a day. I just kind of wrote and it just became the process is I think I could figure out exactly chemically and in the like what's going on, how the creative process happens, but I think that it's more fun to just consider it magic.
I like that.
Yeah. It wasn't there, and then it was, and we got to be a part of
Really fast,
making
too.
it happen. Yeah, really,
Really
quickly.
fast.
Yeah.
Here's an album in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I get such terrible writer's block. It's so hard for me to break out of that.
Mhm.
What do you do when you get like writer's block? Like, what helps you?
Paint.
Paint?
Go to something that's not writing
Yeah.
That's
until
awesome.
until it starts flowing again.
What happens is you go to the grocery store and then it's like, oh,
Yeah.
you gotta hurry up and try to remember it.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
when you
That's
get
me in the
back
middle
to
of the
it.
night, like waking up from
Yeah.
a dream or something, and I got
I've
pen and
done
paper
that.
right there.
That's
Definitely
And I'm just
done
writing
that.
it down.
There's a story that Paul McCartney wrote yesterday in his sleep. Woke up.
Yeah, I've
and
done
it
that.
was there.
Mhm.
Oh, that's right. He was talking about something about scrambled eggs, like to go along with like the melody. And he's like, you can just put whatever you want in there, and we'll just change it later.
Right.
So for a hot second, he was just singing about scrambled eggs.
I believe it.
It just comes when it comes, you know.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to aspiring musicians looking to break into the industry?
Don't quit your day job.
I've heard that a lot.
And break into I think just make sure, just really focus on your connection with your fan base. Find people who jive with what you're doing and build community around that, because you can't do it in a silo.
Yeah.
It's
And
really,
partake like in your scene, like get to know people. That's how we came together. Like we were all playing in different bands, and we would just be at the same places. And it's like I always say this, and it's funny because Vinny brings it up all the time. He's like, "Yeah, Kev, it's a industry of friends. It's a business of friends." I'm like, "Yeah, the music industry is a bunch of friends
yeah.
that are just trying to help each other out."
I think like real world advice too, like would be, try to get, if you already have a project and you're trying to like bring it outside of your town, one is like, yes, use the internet to bring it outside of your town, but like get your chops up, like playing local shows, play a lot of local shows, get used to playing to people at picnic tables who are not paying attention. Like just get used to doing that and just practice that. Take as many shitty gigs as you can for as long as you possibly can. Don't take yourself too seriously. Don't, you know what I mean? Like just put the hours in, and also connect with the bands that are coming through your town in ways. I think that I've seen a lot of when it comes to like people who are like doing merch or like roadies or things like that. Like it is an industry of friends, and it's like becoming tight enough with folks to like be able to work with them like that and get road experience like that will go a long way towards your band getting to be booked as like first of three on a tour or something like that. Because anybody, and it's relatively easy to get a first of three as a local support for a touring act. Relatively, for a lot of bands, and I recognize by saying that it's kind of like a lot of bands, that's a very difficult thing to do. That would be a dream gig for them, but just that one gig is not going to be enough to do anything. That'll give you bragging rights in your hometown.
Yeah,
And that's
exactly.
it. And the more you're concerned with bragging rights in your hometown, the more you're concerned with the wrong thing. So like really like looking outside of where you are, try to get bragging rights outside of that. Try to connect with people who are outside of your town. That's my practical advice.
That's really sound advice. I like that. So I'm going to go ahead and end the interview with this last question. What's next for you guys?
We've got some cool tour things happening spring of next year, but for the most part, I think those first couple of months we're going to be gestating and working on new music and trying to continue to level up and be in a position to take advantage of the opportunities that come through. That harkens back to that advice. Like, you want to get yourself ready for when the opportunity knocks. You want to have your stuff on lock. You want to be like ready to go. You want to like, it's not like the door opens and you're like, oh snap, let me tie my shoes. Like, no, you need to be like there, ready to sprint at all times, you know, and it might take years, but you just stay right there. It's like you're training, you're just like ready to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, a lot of what's the difference between like, you know, bands that you haven't heard of and the bands you have heard of is just the bands that you have heard of, they just didn't stop.
I like that.
If they stop you, if you stop, no one will ever know your name.
Right. I like that a lot.
Yep.
Yeah. Or get discouraged and then write about it. Be discouraged. Be sad as fuck. But
Yep.
then write about it. Make art with it.
Exactly.
Just don't sit and just do nothing.
Yep.
Just do. Just keep doing.
I like that. I'm going to apply that in life.
That's real.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, thank you guys for coming in. I had such a good time getting to speak with you guys.
Yeah.
Sorry about me being a little nervous.
But you didn't come off as nervous
No.
at
Oh, thank
all. Not
God.
in the
Killing it.
slightest.
And now I
Nah.
just like ruined it because now everybody knows I was like,
No, I thought we were homies.
oh my gosh, you just made my whole like year. All right. Well, thank you again so much. And I can't wait to see you guys perform later on tonight.
Hell yeah.
Pleasant disposition.